I see that every single person God ever puts me in front of is for a reason, and it's for a very special reason.
It's like, you know, growing up in New Orleans, that kind of made it a little bit broader.
Yeah.
It gave you that ability to touch, you know, people over here.
Yeah.
Maybe more than people that are like, you know, just deep down New Orleans. Like, you kind of have to be in New Orleans mode to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So what opened up your mind? Was it going to school? Was it your time as a teacher? What?
It was going to Africa.
Yeah.
You know, I went to Africa when I was like 14 or 15. So that's what it was, man. That was the first time in my life that one experience literally altered the course of my whole life, bro. I went to Ghana. Mm-hmm. My kindergarten teacher, she was from Kenya, and she started a program in New Orleans where she would bring teenagers over to West Africa for a few weeks for like a cultural enrichment type of program where we would get to go over there and see everything about how they lived, from where they lived at to the type of schools they went to what their interests were, what their hobbies were, all that type of stuff. And a 2-week trip turned into a 3-week trip, because I remember like yesterday when we were on the plane about to come back, somebody died on the plane, you know what I mean? So because of that, they wouldn't allow us to fly, so that pushed our flight back home back like a day or two. Then when we got on the plane the second time to come back home, somebody was trying to smuggle some, this dude, matter of fact, you probably know him, he's from the city, but this dude was trying to smuggle some stuff back, you know, to the United States that you weren't supposed to take from Africa. I believe it was some ivory or something like that. And that, you know, held us back. That turned into a whole legal ordeal. So a 2-week trip turned into a 3-week trip, and I was happy. I was like, look, we could keep on having accidents or mishaps occur, because I'm loving this time over here in Ghana. And man, what I learned when I was over there, I learned that, number one, we don't have it bad like we think we do. Even if we come from the hood, man, like I'm over there, I'm looking at people my age, I'm looking at women, these beautiful black women, I'm looking at them have to walk 3 miles every day just to go to a spot where there's clean water, where the water is not contaminated or not, you know, too dirty to consume. They gotta walk about 3 miles, you know, every day. They literally scooping this water by hand out of the spring, and they putting it into like a big old metal pot. Literally, the metal pot is, what's up, soldier? Good, brother, good. So the metal pot is probably the size of these, what you call this?
Case.
Your case. It's about the size of this case, except it's round. You know, it's circular. So it's already kind of heavy when it's empty. But when you fill it up with buku water, man, that thing heavy. And I'm seeing,
it's moving.
Yeah, and I'm seeing these women, bro. Like, it tripped my head. I'm seeing these women take that thing, and then they lift it and they put it on their head, because it's too heavy for their little arms to carry and walk 3 miles. So they've learned how to put it on their head and balance it. Now balancing it, that's a whole nother monster. They've learned how to balance it, and they walk back those 3 miles, and they're just so elegant and graceful as they walking. And I'm just like, man, these people doing that just to have clean water for their family to bathe in or for them to use to cook. Like, that's amazing. So that tripped my head out. It tripped my head out how students my age, if they wanted to go to high school, they had to make a decision as a 14 or 15-year-old that they would leave their families and they would go to essentially a boarding school. Because when you got to that level of education, which was equivalent to high school over there, they didn't have it conveniently placed like how we have it, to where, oh yeah, you still live at home and you just go to school down the street every day. Nah, if you wanted to go to high school, you had to make a decision with your family that, hey, we're not going to live together anymore, because I'm going off to boarding school. So they took school so much more serious than we did. I'm sitting here trying to talk to the girls in the class, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, I'm about to holler at an African girl, like, oh, this, man, they not worried about no David Augustine at all, bro. They so focused because school means so much more to them. this is an opportunity for them, you know.
Absolutely.
I'm seeing brothers out there in Ghana, literally, as soon as they see a female, as soon as they see a woman that we with, they getting on one knee, bro, and they literally proposing to the girls that's on the trip with us. They proposing to them to marry them. And I'm like, what in the world is going on right now, yo? Is this a joke? What's going on? Literally, these dudes was like, dead serious, because in their country, legally, if you're married to someone who lives in the U.S.,
you're a citizen.
You're a citizen, so you can move over here. So they're literally proposing to this girl Nikisha, who's on the trip with us, and this other girl Jasmine and all this, and they hoping they about to say yes, because they like, man, this is my ticket. You hear me? Just complete culture shock, bro. And honestly, that made me come back to the NO with a different frame of mind, and I was just like, homie, like, I graduated from that mental slavery that so many of us are infected with down here. It's just that mental slavery of thinking life is all about the third ward and the ninth ward and wherever we live at in life is all about just that little small circle, because it's not, dog. It's not, and we actually need to be way more thankful. I'm not tripping on having Jordans or not when I come back. I used to be, giving my mama hell about that type of stuff. Man, my mama never bought me no Jordans, ever.
Yeah.
My whole life, dog. The only pair of Jordans I got on when I was on tour with Grand Hustle a few years ago. It was Young Dro, Killer Mike, me, Pac Div, Tip was locked up. And we went to a store in Ohio, and it was like, y'all, every artist could have a free pair of shoes out the store. And I was like, man, I ain't never had Jordans. Bro, I'm about to be legit. So but other than that, man, I came back home not worried about that type of stuff, because I saw the things to really be thankful for. Because despite the Ghanaians not having all these material things, they were so happy, bro. And they had so much joy that just came from them. And it was like, yo, you can actually feel how much they just are loving and appreciating life. And I felt like I didn't have that. And I started like wanting that. I was like, I need that. I need people to feel that from me the way I felt that from them. You hear me?
Interesting.
And that right there, I think that sparked me coming back here and just...
Were you already doing music at that time?
No, not at all. So at first, it just translated into me being that little dude that was in the hood that was always like the conscious brother, or the brother that's like, I'm seeing the positive in the situation, and it kind of made me the outcast, because as a 14-year-old, people looking at you weird if you talking some conscious type, Hey, my brother, we gotta come
back. 14.
Yeah.
When I was 14, that was the shit, like Public Enemy and KRS and all that.
Oh yeah, nah. When I was 14,
when you was
not when I was 14.
Hot boys, you hear me? Like straight up. When I was 14, everybody wanted to be a hot boy in New Orleans. Everybody, including me.
Took out.
Right? Like it still bleeds off of me. You know what I'm saying? Like
I see you with your soldier rag.
Yeah, right. Like this is just natural for me, right? Yeah. I had the white tee on. I keep a white tee on. Why? Because the hot boys always say we wear tees, bows, and reeds. You hear me? Like white tees, that's part of the dress code. I just took it off in the car because I wanted to rep my brand, Mission Vision. But other than that, I keep a white tee. Like, and that's what changed my mindset. And I think it just spilled over into when I did start doing music. I already was like, man, I can't just be the typical.
Because that's a hell of a decision to make, because you got a flow that can put you in with all of that shit. But you know what I'm saying? The content, it puts you in a different place. And like, I really appreciate that. That's putting that dog, that pill in the dog food to give it to people.
Believe that. So, and that's why hip hop is fun to me, man, because I know that I'm doing something difficult, and the challenge is what excites me every day, though. I'm really, like you said, I'm putting the pill in the dog food. You know what I'm saying? So that's cool.
Thank you for answering my question, sir.
Yeah, great question, actually. Great question. Yeah.
When did you actually make that transition from teaching to music, and what was that like?
I made that transition. I put out a video. I'm assuming you're familiar with it, but maybe not. J50 and Weezy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that song, when I put that song out, that's the first time I experienced what it feels like to go viral.
Okay.
That video just, before that, none of my music videos had over 5,000 hits.
Before that was like One Man Army and all of those?
Before that was, so I had an original version of One Man Army, like the music video, where I was standing on top of a bridge in New Orleans, trying not to get hit by cars, and I was rapping about being a one-man army, and I had like this camouflage thermal on, and I just knew, I was like, oh, look at me, boy, I'm official, I'm a real rapper, I got a video, and it was a great song, but people just weren't checking for Dee-1 at the time, so it didn't have more than 2,000 or 3,000 hits. I had a few other songs, none of them had over 5,000 views on YouTube. Man, I put out that J50 and Weezy video, psh, yo. Next, I'll say in the first month they had like 500,000 hits, you know, straight up. So at that point, the phone started ringing, and there was a lot of opportunities coming my way, and I realized, yo, I'm gonna have to make a decision. I can't be I was a teacher at the time. I ain't gonna be able to be a teacher much longer. I'm gonna have to decide, either be a teacher and ignore all this attention I'm getting, or go ahead on and take a chance at making it as a rapper and give the teaching up. I chose hip hop, and I chose hip hop because I still felt like I was gonna be able to be a teacher, just a teacher on the microphone, instead of a teacher inside this little small classroom.
No, you teach the whole world.
Yeah.
That's
That's a good question. But yeah.
So I'm curious, can you talk about something or anything that has surprised you this year?
On a spiritual level, what surprised me is the fact that, man, like, there's a meme that's going around. I don't know if y'all ever seen it, but it's so real. I believe it's a little girl who has a little teddy bear in her hand, and Jesus is pretty much there with his hands out, like, yo, let me get that teddy bear from you. And behind his back, he got a big, huge teddy bear. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And she's sitting there holding on to her teddy bear, like, no, I don't want to give it to you. And I realized how, if we give those little things, you know, to God that we're trying to hold on to so much that we feel like, no, I need this though. This is my little guilty pleasure, or, you know, you might not approve of it, God, but come on, man, I'm human. You gotta understand. You gotta understand this. Give me at least this, or whatever little platform you gave me. Okay, I got that. But if that's causing us to not fully be obedient to Him, I really realize that when we go ahead on and give those things up, He really does have way greater blessings. And I gave some of those things up. You know, that I gave some of those things up. And when I gave them up, it was right when the year was starting. And something just told me, like, man, you know what? I'm letting my obedience for God go to another level. Therefore, I know that these blessings are finna come, like, from every direction. I just had a good feeling about it. And I started off the year, and the first thing I did when the year started was I put out a little music video. I put out probably 100 music videos my whole career, but I put out a music video called Sally Maybach. And what did it do? Blew up. It became the biggest song of my career. And everybody's like, oh, where this song come from? How do you feel about this going viral? And it's like, man, if y'all really want to know the truth, I knew it the whole time. I knew this was going to happen before it happened. Because I knew that behind closed doors, I've been working on myself, you know what I'm saying? And I know that obedience was going to get rewarded by God. So that's a level that a lot of people, you know, can't quite feel me on. But it's like I'm living through it right now, you know what I mean? So, you know, so that's been cool about this year.
What was one of your favorite moments in the studio?
Favorite moments in the studio? Oh, I got one of them in my phone. I need to post it on IG one day. Watching Lupe Fiasco record his verse to Against Us remix. So, you know, that's a video I got out for those who are unfamiliar. That's a music video I have out with featuring Lupe Fiasco and Big Crit, the Against Us remix. And to get Lupe on that song, it was so shocking. Like, dude is just 100, man. I love Lupe. You know, we could take that statement to the bank, because homie has shown me a lot of love. And I was just letting him hear my EP that was about to drop. Look, Lou, I got these songs about to drop. Got this song called Show on the Road, which you played earlier. Pow, played it for him. Okay, that's dope. Got this song called My Student Got Murdered. by one of my little homies who got shot.
Yeah.
You know, who I used to teach. Bow, played it for him. Got this song called Against Us. You hear me? Bow, played it for him. He was like, ooh, I mess with that. Like, word. So he was like, so he said he messed with it. So I'm like, what you mean? You want to hop on it? Like, what's up? And he was like, yeah, come on. So I was like, when? You know, you tell me. And he was like, right now. Like, send it to me. And I watched this man go in the booth and literally off the dome just come up with this verse, you know, for my song. I watched his whole process, bar for bar. You know, he took his time with it, and bar for bar, he just constructed that verse. So I was in there taping, you heard me? I was taping on my little cell phone, and that was a great in-studio moment for me. Yeah. That one was real great.
And you was on tour with Lupe too.
Yeah,
right?
so that's how the relationship kind of started. Was we did a whole tour together.
How's the differences between that tour and doing this tour on your own?
Well, the people are coming to these shows to see me.
Yeah.
And that's a different feeling because they know the words to my songs. As soon as I hit the stage, they're already excited, you know. That right there, that's a way different feeling than when you open it for Big Homie, you hear me? And they really all came to the show to see him, but you coming out before him, and your job is to try to entertain them and capture their attention, you know? Mm-hmm. So that's the big difference, and I like it. Last night was the first real show we did on the tour. We did it in Houston, and I ain't gonna lie, Houston showed up and they showed out. Yeah, they really did. They really did. So that's one of the big.
And you just did Riot Fest, right? How was that?
I did Riot Fest. That was cool, you heard me? Cause I performed on the stage. That stage was lit. It was me, 2 Chainz, Tyler the Creator, Nas, just those names right there, all on the same stage, back to back. You know what I'm saying? That was real cool just to see. Cause I ripped it. I did my thing, the crowd was loving it. So I was like, all right, they feeling D1. Yeah, this dope. Then 2 Chainz came out there. But 2 Chainz ripped it. Everybody was feeling him. So I'm like, dang, all right. It just shows you how people are. Like people have diverse taste buds. You know what I mean? You don't only like buffalo wings. You could like lemon pepper. You know what I'm saying? You could like spicy barbecue. You could like all this stuff. So they were feeling D1, feeling 2 Chainz. Goodness, they was feeling Tyler the Creator.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. More than feeling, they was loving Tyler the Creator. You hear me? And then Nas, you know, when Nas came out, that was just icing on that cake.
Yeah, you can't beat that. And you said you're going back to Africa in October and November?
Yeah, I have an opportunity on the table to go back to Africa. So you listen to the mixtape, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Shout out to Rubina for listening to my mixtape, yo. I have to stress that because you'll be surprised as an artist, you heard me? You'll be surprised how many people they're gonna start to know your name and they might rock with you. Now, so think about it like this. Before social media, you didn't have a choice. If you liked an artist, if you knew who an artist was, the only information you had about that artist was their music. You had to listen to their music. Like if you knew who the artist was, you heard a person's name, the only info accessible and available to you was their music. So you had to listen to their music. Nowadays, man, people will know your name. They'll know the name D1, but they ain't never heard the music because they enjoy following me on Instagram, and that's enough for them. Or they're like, okay, I like following him on Facebook too. Or I like his periscopes. Or I like this. But some people actually never get into like, yo, oh, you are a rapper. Let me actually check your music out. You know, they don't get that far. And as a rapper, as an artist who puts my life stories into my music, man, that stuff be having me feeling some kind of way. Yo, I be feeling like, oh, wait. Yo, last night I'm in Houston and we did the VIP meet and greet. We had a lot of people, I ain't gonna lie. We're doing the meet and greet. We in there talking. I'm like, all right, these are like the die hard fans. So as we in there talking, and I mentioned something about the mixtape that I just put out, the Slingshot David mixtape. The tour I'm on happened because of the mixtape. I put the mixtape out. It got great reception. So, what's up, man? So with that being said, it was just crazy to me how some of these people at the VIP meet and greet, they had never heard of the mixtape.
Wow,
like,
that's crazy.
You got a mixtape out? For real? What's it called? I'm like, yo. So you came to this concert tonight. You bought tickets, and you ain't even know that I have a mixtape out called.
That's unbelievable.
Who you telling me? I just be sitting there like, wow, that's how it is. So the goal is, for me, I want people, I don't mind if people love my story, or they love the way I look, or my demeanor, or the way I carry myself, but I want you to love my music, because I make music to be the soundtrack for people's lifestyle, you know what I mean? Like, I just felt like, why, no offense to the artist I'm about to name, but why is somebody who's going to college, who's, you know, taking out student loans or having to work 2 jobs to pay for school, why is somebody who is trying not to get caught up in the streets, and they, you know, they give their life to God, and they're trying to stay focused and live a righteous path, why is that person, why is the only music that they feel like is out there that they could bump something like Future? You know what I'm saying? Like why? Like that's okay if you like Future, but you deserve to have music that fits the lifestyle that you're living.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm in the game. I'm making music that fits the lifestyle of either the person that's already living their life, where they're trying to go from good to great, you know what I mean? And they in school, or they working their 9 to 5, but they hustling hard every day, but they're trying to keep it legal, you know what I mean? I don't make music for the people that's, you know, that's popping perks, or that's, you know, that's out there shooting, killing somebody, or they on the corner slanging or whatever. I make music for the people that's doing that if they feel like, man, I'm trying to change, and I don't know.
So what keeps you motivated to keep going, keep
right? What keeps me motivated? I always, like, sometimes, bro, I be trying to think too hard about the answer to that type of stuff. But the truth is, there's a small group of people who I keep in mind, and that's the people I used to teach, my former students. I keep them in mind, and I think about the fact that I know they looking at me. I know Rodney, I know Garrett, I know Lester, I know Aaron, I know even the girls I taught. I know they all looking at me. They're paying it because I'm Mr. Augustine. You know, you never forget your teachers when you're in middle school. I remember all of my teachers, Miss Melvin, Mr. Jake, Mr. Adams, Miss Eileen, all that. They looking at Mr. Augustine like, dang, my teacher really a rapper. And what keeps me motivated is I know that them seeing me be successful and not have to change and not have to compromise, I know that still gives them hope that they can make it as well in life. Even if it's not in the music game, they can make it in life, and they don't have to, you know, give in to all the pressure to take a negative route. That's what motivates me, bro. The other stuff, like, I enjoy other parts of the game, but those other parts of the game don't motivate me. You know what I mean? That's what motivates me, is I know it's certain people that's paying attention right now, and they need to see Dee-1 be successful. I don't even feel like a rapper, bro. I still feel like Mr. Augustine, the teacher. You know, I still feel like David. Let David off Dwight Road in New Orleans. But I just feel like it's people that's looking, that's like, man, I ain't think it was possible to come from where we grew up at and turn out like that dude, you know? Because I was in the trenches with these people, you heard me? I wasn't pulling triggers, and I wasn't on the corner slanging, but I lived right there, you heard me? That was happening in front of my house. That was happening, like, so these people know, man. These people who ain't dead or in jail right now, they know. Like, man, that dude from right there where it was going down. And word, like, that's possible, you know what I'm saying? So if they see that it's possible in me, it's like, homie, I ain't no different from you. So it's possible with you too, straight up.
Yeah. I feel you.
Keep doing your thing, bro. Just know I'm very proud of you.
Oh, thank you for saying that means a lot. I'm proud of you too.
It's love, man. Cool. All right, keep it up. Man, look. Alright, bro, peace. So that's the dude right there. That's the one who found out that I was a rapper first, you know. He raised his hand here, and you see, he called me Mr. Augustine still. I'm not Dee-1 to them, I'm Mr. Augustine. And he was like, Mr. Augustine, man, I saw this dude on YouTube look just like you, man. This dude look just like you, man. You got a twin? And I was like, and I just turned around, and I was like, my heart was beating fast, like, oh, the secret finna get out, like, what's gonna happen? So I ended up telling them. I was like, that's me, you know?
Yeah.
And they didn't believe me, so.
And didn't that make you the coolest teacher?
Oh.
Because now they like, spit something.
Bro, of course.
Oh, he was already the coolest teacher, huh?
I was already pretty cool, I ain't gonna lie to them, because it was like, oh yeah, our teacher be fresh every day, and like, yeah, he cool, he real. But, yeah, they asked me to spit something, they didn't believe me. Man, I spit something fine. Hit him with a hot 16 right quick. Whole class went crazy, you know what I mean? I'm talking about they started screaming and hollering. Miss Moses, that was the teacher next door, she came, old lady, it reminded me of my grandma, she came running in, like, what's going on, are they fighting, Mr. Augustine? Like, is it a fight? Like, she just thought it was a riot in my class. And they was just hyped because they heard what I spit on just now. Yeah. And so yeah, man, it definitely made me conscious of the fact that, alright, they listening, they're gonna be paying attention to what I do. I gotta be careful what type of messages I'm putting out there. Cause before that, I was a little more reckless in my music. You know what I'm saying? Like I was. After that, recklessness had to stop. It's like having kids. I don't have any, but anybody with kids, they say, "Oh yeah, boy, that stuff made me take my hustle game all the way to the next level. I gotta grind harder, or I gotta be more conscious of how I'm living now. You know, cause I got somebody watching me. That's exactly how I felt."
Yeah.
You know, like there's certain times when it's just like I can't even tell you like how we gonna be good, but I know why we're gonna be good, cause God really has us. You know what I'm saying? I know that. There's certain times when it's that, you know, and some people might not fully get it, but that's no excuse for being foolish.